Okay, go ahead.
Welcome back to the channel, folks. Moneystream, aka moneystream.com.au. It's a new year, new beginning, and wonderful things to happen. We'd like to introduce you to Mr. Jim Penman, CEO, founder of the Jims Group, with over 5,200 franchisees and growing, covering Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. Welcome, Jim, as always.
Yeah. Sorry, what was that?
Welcome, Jim, as always. We thank you for your time. As always, you're always giving time. I thank you personally. Today, what we'd like to cover is your expertise and your knowledge of living in today's world, especially with the cost of living so high for this generation, and also individuals that are going through struggles. I mean, we're all going through struggles, but especially mental health, the mental health space, which is vital. That touches my heart as well. And also the Jims Group brand, someone looking to get into, their own business versus the local independent that's got to do all the marketing and invoices and everything on their own and just starting out. So just an insight from you, if you could. Thanks, Jim.
Well, look, the crucial figures is this. If you go into a service business, and I'm talking about cleaning or gardening, one of those kinds of things, as an independent, as is, you can look it up on the internet. It's quite widely available figures. Your chance of being in business within 12 months is between 5 and 10%. This is publicly available figures. That is the normal survival rate. Between 90 and 95% will be gone within their first year. Now, we're not 100%, but we lose about 12% in the first year. So about 88% consistently of our franchisees are still in business. And the other ones haven't all failed. They might have sold, they might have got independent, might have done something, but they're not longer franchisees. So that's the difference. We are very good at getting people into business and helping them to succeed. Not universally, but we do make mistakes and we do pick people we shouldn't have sometimes. But on the whole, we're pretty good at doing them.
Yeah. And so with say an independent person coming along, I'll name myself. So I'm looking to get into Jim's mowing, and I do love gardening. So I've already got that passion. I love gardening. I love helping people. But let's say, and true, I come from a white collar industry. The office type job, sitting in there just looking out the window, day in, day out, day in, day out. So I love gardening, but I've never owned a business. I have no idea about running a business, and I'm tossing up. Also, I don't have finance or anything to get into, so I'm looking at either the Jims Group or I'm looking at starting my own. Put it in the internet, whatever, and do everything myself. Buy the equipment, get the customers, do the bookwork, and on it goes. And I've just come out of a marriage breakdown. So that sort of scenario.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, John. Okay. First of all, not having a background in industry is fine. It's normal. There are divisions like building inspections and electrical, obviously, that need a background experience. Generally speaking, most of the advantage. If you've been in business for yourself in the past, or you've been in a management position, or if you've been in sales, I'd say your chance of succeeding are especially good, but that is a minority. So most of the people that come to us have never been in business and never worked in the field that we're actually giving the business in. So that's for a start.
Yes.
It's possible to start it by yourself, but I would say there'd be one very powerful recommendation: start part-time, because your chance of succeeding full-time are not very good. And that's exactly how I started. I actually started, before I went to university, I got a couple of jobs doing gardening. And I just worked at $1.50 an hour, which even in those days, back in 1970, was not a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I started it by myself. I did it just a little bit the weekend. I gradually learned. I got better at it. And it was, I didn't actually go full-time for, 12 years. So I knew what I was doing in terms of doing it part-time. So I'd recommend if you want to do it by yourself, part-time is a reasonable option where you're not relying on it. And let's face it, we've all got after hours, weekends, and so forth. So that's easy.
Yes, yes.
I'd say going into full-time, unless you really got a very good business background, is probably not a great idea, because the trouble is that's your biggest problem. So if you're working for say 3 months and you fail, but in that time you might have missed out on your salary, so you $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 behind depending on what you're making.
Yes.
So that's kind of like very chancy. The other thing too is that let me put it this way. I have a lot of respect for people who go into business for themselves and succeed. There's a guy in my church I meet occasionally. He often sits in the pew in front of us, and I have chats to him now and how his business is going. And look, this guy's made it. He's actually a full-time gardening contractor. But the interesting thing about it is he makes about half what our guys do.
Yes.
He's making about 70 grand a year.
Mm.
Which is very, very poor income by the standards of what latest survey we did of our Monk franchisees. The average turnover was just under $3,000 a week. I think it was $2,900 per week turnover,
Yes.
which is equivalent to something like 100 grand plus salary.
Yes.
So going in by yourself is certainly a possibility, but I suggest you go in part-time to begin with.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, yeah, and as you say, with that income, I mean, the average mortgage now, with the rates as they are right now, is about $3,500–4,000. So there's $45,000 on the average mortgage, and you don't have
very
much left.
Unfair, actually, John. Is one of the things I'm quite passionate about is the problem with housing affordability, and this is due to government policy, nothing else.
Yes,
it's ridiculous.
yes.
You used to be able to buy a house for 3 or 4 years typical income. Now it takes like 7 or 8. It's really bad.
Yes.
And there's people like myself, and I include, we have property. We have multiple properties. My wife's a developer. And it's good for us because they keep on going up in value. But the poor sods who can't afford to. Now, my children are in a better situation because they're not trust fund kids. They don't get a lot of money, but we help them with housing because otherwise it's just so difficult to get into the market.
Yes, yes, and you hit the nail on the head. I'm on your side there, Jim, because I actually did a research paper at university about housing affordability, and you're absolutely on the money. It's government policy, and it's absolutely ludicrous. Not that we're going to talk about politics today. It's still going on, and people are just struggling. And again, you've said it where your church fellow member there on $70,000. I mean, a young person
how can he afford to buy a house?
Yeah, well, that's right.
That's the reason.
Yeah. Oh, the bank would tear up the application in a heartbeat.
Yes.
But yeah, look, that's another discussion to have on another episode. So to conclude on our discussion today, so individuals that are looking to start a business, and I'll always put your contact details in the description. I guess they could come along to they're invited to go out with your franchisees. You have that available in your group, and there's no obligation. And also they'd get an insight, especially if they haven't got experience in whatever division or business, get an insight, and then perhaps they could do something part-time, get some experience, and then perhaps way up coming to the Jim's group or going independent, would you say?
Yeah. Look, in fact, I mean, I am inviting people in a sense to rip us off, but what they can do, inquire about a franchise, go out on the road with some successful people, and we send them out with some good ones.
Yes.
Come to training, which is only cost a few $100. That's including lunch and a bit more if you want to stay on site. Do the full training course. They can do full, say, 3 days or generic plus 3 days gardening, for example. So a 6-day really good industry standard business training course.
Yes.
Come to the end of that time, so they decide not to go with the franchise and go and do it by themselves. Their actual chances of success are now many times more than they would be if they'd have actually just gone out and done it without the help.
Exactly, yeah.
So I'd also recommend too, if you were going to do that, doing all the research you possibly can. Like online, for example, there are thousands of different videos that
Yes.
we've done, interview people, you can talk about who's successful, what are they
Yes.
doing, why. There's
Yes.
ones where we follow them around through the day, a day in the life of. There is an enormous amount of information.
Yes.
So I think a person wants to be independent, and God bless them if they do, because not everybody's
Yes.
franchise material. Some people are just too
Yes.
individualistic to want to follow a system.
Sure.
But there are a
Sure.
lot of ways that you can improve your odds.
Yes, absolutely. And I watch your videos, Jim. I think they're wonderful. Yeah. And some, I mean, I can't work at the moment. That's my health issues. Even though I love gardening, but yeah, I've seen your videos and I watch them. And with your sidekick there, sorry, forgive me, I can't remember names, but he's great. Yeah, because you've got all your people talking. Yeah, yeah, he's wonderful. You've got all your people talking. Anyone that wants to see some evidence, it's right there in front of them. So yeah.
Well, I don't know, John. I mean, maybe you're not physically right for something like mine, but what about Jim's beauty, for example? Could you go out and do acrylic nails?
You could use me. You could use me as a model. I need all the help I can get, Jim. Yeah, well, Jim's Beauty's off and running. So congratulations there on another division. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure everybody's heard it in the press on TV. Yeah, congratulations. And yeah,
It's off to a brilliant start, actually. As I said before, we've already got 4 people signed, and
yeah,
and there's a number more coming on the way.
yes,
The
and
actual leads
yeah.
are pretty good too.
Yeah, and I've been watching your video just to give you credit again on what you mentioned with your videos with Joel and interviewing your franchisees. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if an individual has qualifications, certification, university, is the franchise fee still waived for them?
No, we don't waive franchise fees because of qualifications.
Oh, sorry, you're offering free franchises at one stage?
What we're looking at is particularly for fencing. We are
Fencing.
looking to set up a course
Yes.
for fences, but the thing of it is, what they've done then is that there's an 8-week training program.
Yes.
Becoming a fencer takes a bit of time. It's not just like 3 days to be in horticultural training for mowing. It's like 8 weeks in the field. So what we want to do is we're setting up our RTO, so if people have gone through that, we'll give the first 10 or so a free franchise. But the others will be very welcome to be employees, because our apprentices are all looking for good workers. So you've got somebody trained up. We just say, okay, here you are, here's a job. It's
Absolutely.
so easy. As long as they do well in the training.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's going to be a good option. There's so much work for fencing. It's just unbelievable. I mean,
I was going to say, I've had friends even tell me, and I always tell them, ring gyms, ring gyms. They can't get anyone even to get a quote for fencing. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I've had that many people tell me that, and I said, ring gyms, ring gyms. Yeah. So
no, it doesn't help. Unfortunately, most of our jobs are unserviced.
Yes, yes. And what about the new? Just to touch on to conclude on the new gas government policy that they've introduced, where they're going to wipe out gas for new dwellings and going into electricity. Is that an area where gyms would come in on their electrical? You have your gyms electrical contractors.
Well, actually, that particular job can be done to a large extent by what's called Jim's Energy.
All right.
We've got an energy division which specifically looks at things like solar panels, batteries, and hot water systems. So they might need a plumber to plumb it in.
Yes.
But basically, yes, energy does that. It's a very good business, and it's great.
Yeah.
We all need to go. We all need to go electric these days. That's just the way of the world.
Yeah, well, I remember in the 70s, Jim, because I was born in the late 60s, my late grandmother, uncles, and my mother, we had electric back then. We didn't have gas. So in a sense, we're going backwards if you can understand what I'm trying to say. And I was all for electric. And even till this day, I thought, I don't know why we went gas. But anyway, that's another topic. Yeah.
I think at the time it was cheaper and people really weren't aware of greenhouse gases. The other big, really big difference though too is the solar panels.
Yeah.
So I've got solar panels on my house,
Yes.
on my office, and on my farm. Everywhere we can put solar panels up, we do, and it's actually we don't get any subsidies except for the house. We don't get anything for the business. It's still worthwhile doing because solar panels are very cost effective.
Yes.
So I've got an electric car now, which I bought just over a year ago, and I've never paid. It didn't cost me anything because I just plug it in during the daytime. I never let it charge at night, so it's the charging is set for daytime. When the sun's shining, I plug it in, and it gets powered by surplus power coming out of my solar panels. So it doesn't cost me anything.
Remarkable.
Now, if you look at that, now it costs a bit better to buy an electric car, but I'm probably saving something like $5,000 a year at least on petrol, and that's assuming it doesn't go up in value. In fact, petrol's always increasing.
Yeah, exactly.
So in the next, 8 years, I'll have saved myself $40,000 plus whatever the increase is.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a good feeling too. I don't feel bad about driving. I know there's no coal being burned. I don't want to power my car by coal.
Yes.
But if you're going to choose between coal and gas, from an
Yes.
environmental point of view, gas is better. It's got less greenhouse emissions.
Yes.
But solar powered electricity is the best.
Yeah. No, I'm into power and I'm into electricity. Interesting. Maybe that's a topic for another day, Jim. Like to thank you again, Jim Penman, CEO founder of the Jim's Group, with over 5,200 franchisees in Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. Thanks, Jim, as always, and like, share, subscribe, comment, viewers on Moneystream, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you, Jim.
Right.